Alright, welcome back to another update episode for MHC November Civil Engineer. We're now doing episode 3 and 4 back to back, Reader's Digest style. So let us see. We'll just go like that this time. Alright, so we're going to start off with, and thank you very much for those of you who left little notes of encouragement and appreciation. Again, I really appreciated that. I've been feeling really guilty about being off schedule as much as I am this month. So I'm glad you're all enjoying them, the updates. So we're going to start off with Dragon Feathers. So episode 3 for Dragon Feathers. Alright, so she has an idea for her next MHC to add singing, and I think that would be a lot of fun. So she's saying that on the next MHC, I guess for December, if her throat holds up because she hasn't been feeling well lately, that she'll do kind of like a musical Minecraft, so MHC, so that will be a lot of fun. And she has a very, very nice voice. So she made pumpkin pie. Yay, I love pumpkin pie, one of my favorites. Let's see, started a stone wall, had a creeper peeper in the window, and I saw it, Dragon Feather, so you were not imagining it. I saw him too, looking through the window. Dug down looking for the ravine, didn't find it. And then I say yes, a musical starring Dragon Feathers would be fantastic. Then episode 4 for Dragon Feathers, she lit up the tall house, did some terraforming, continued with the stone wall until dark, went back to looking for the ravine and found it this time, checked a nearby cave system, and ended back at the bottom of the ravine. And that was it for that episode. And then we have Dadcraft 73, Pigglesworth, and Zloy XP. Oh my gosh. Alright, I guess this is why I shouldn't stand at that corner. Let's see, let me get over here. Maybe this will be better. Maybe. I think right here will be better. Okay. Or right here even. Alright. Sorry about that. I took an arrow to the ankle. I'm gonna die. Okay. Ooh, look at that moon back there. I believe this texture pack is Pebbles. I was using it for base race, and apparently between the episode 1 update and episode 2 update, Minecraft didn't update to a different version. So all my maps were not sitting in the deal except for this one because I had already been on it, and so I couldn't change, and all my resource packs weren't in there either, so I guess I have to go back to the last version to make those show up. Otherwise I gotta stick them back in the folder. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? Okay, Dadcraft, Pigglesworth, Zloy. Episode 3. They put up more dirt fences. Piggy put up more dirt fences. Piggy, hold on, I had to scrunch part of this. Oh yeah, he only had 1.5 hearts left over from episode 2. And again, while he was checking the gardens, a creeper came up to him, but this time he killed it and it did not blow up on him. So then they fenced up a garden to ensure that they have food for themselves, put support pillars under the tall house, did some terraforming. Zloy built a very nice wooden staircase and updated the elevation to what is now headquarters. So to the tall house he added some little extras that made it look quite nice. And let's see, discussed a trip to the Nether, had issues with a sniper in the ravine, and ended with Piggy on fire and back down to 1 heart. Yeah, poor piggy. So yeah, they're talking about going to the Nether. That should be interesting. And then we have episode 4 for Dadcraft, Piggy, and Zloy. Started in tragedy as Piggy was killed by the lag monster named Creeper. Dadcraft and Zloy, in their grief, tore down the small houses on the other side of the ravine, like the ones behind me, and turned them into a graveyard with a huge monument of Piggy, made by Zloy. Dadcraft found a straight drop to diamond level. Don't worry, he took the slow way down, and ends the day finding the diamonds. He didn't collect them yet, but he did find them. And let's see, then after that we have C. Scott Play. So episode 3, Mr. C. Scott cleaned up under the well, built a wider base so it doubles as a bridge, moved the small house back, spent the night down in the mines, found his yellow hard hat, and made pumpkin pie. Great day. Ended with a skelly shooting over his head. Now, I told you I heard a skelly when you were running up that hill last time. And I remember he started the episode and he's looking to see is there a skelly, and he couldn't see him. And I think I know where the skelly's been hiding. But yeah, so this time the skelly actually landed the arrow over his head and shoulder. And he's like, oh, there's a skelly back there. So episode 4 finished the small house, took care of some more OSHA issues, started working on covering the ravine, went back down to the lava lake looking for redstone and found lots of it. And he made it to day 5, which according to him, he has not made it to day 5 in either quite a while or ever. So congratulations on making it to day 5. After that we have Grandma's Gone Gaming. Episode 3 did some terraforming in the rain, put up walls, spent the night in the mine, found diamonds and more redstone. In episode 4, Grandma's Gone Gaming lit up the houses, finished some more of the walls, worked through the night securing the village, and ended things with a bang. And yeah, you'll have to go find out what happened at the end of her episode 4. See, episode 3, Wandering Nerd. Oh, yes, Wandering Nerd, episode 3. Worked on covering the ravine. Let's see, went down to gather resources, found a creeper and a skelly in a very large cave system. And then episode 4, he did some more terraforming, continued covering the ravine, discussed the plan for his underground museum. Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea too, what he plans to do with the ravine. So I would suggest going and checking that out so you can get more details, since I had to do Reader's Digest version. I wasn't able to tell you all the details because I had to kind of skip through everything pretty quick. So Tim over at Captain Hook, episode 3. While waiting for his snow golem army heads to grow, he worked on covering the ravine. During the early hours of the night, he was betrayed by the farmer who lured the unsuspecting Captain Hook to a rooftop ambush of zombies carrying iron shovels. If only his pumpkin heads had grown faster. Good game, Captain Hook. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. Walks out, he hears the hears the villager, being whacked by a zombie, and he goes out to save the villager, and I think 3 or 4 zombies just drop off the rooftop on his head, and they just totally annihilated him. So episode 3 for John Fall 92. Moved the tree farm into the village, turned the lookout house into his base of operations of many floors, made a late night run into the forest for wood, had a close call with a zombie, spider, skelly, and creeper near morning. And in episode 4, he worked on the multi-level house, which is his like his base of operations, but I think he said he was planning on doing the same thing with some of the other houses, like the one that slid into the ravine. So that sounds like a really cool idea. So he's going to make them all kind of multi-leveled so that people can just, I guess, access the ravine at different levels. Episode 4, he worked on the multi-level house some more, put out more torches, gathered more andesite for the houses, and everything is looking really good. And after that we have Granny's Got Game and Catherine. In episode 3, once we got Catherine off the little skywalk thingy, went back to the village, gathered crops and pumpkins, went across the lake to the neighbor village, found saddles and an iron helmet at the blacksmith's, spent the night boating around the lake and collecting wood. Yeah, we left the village around the other village around nighttime, and we're boating around trying to find a place we can set up and then, gather some wood, and kept running into skellies and zombies, and so we ended up a lot of the time just playing bumper boats. Episode 4, put up fences. Catherine had a near-death experience when 2 spiders threw her into the ravine. Many jump scares throughout the night. Yeah, we'd be running around doing stuff and turn a corner and we'd both be coming from opposite directions and scare the life out of each other. There's lots of screaming, so keep your volume down. And that was the end of our episode 4. Oh, and of course Catherine did survive her fall to the bottom of the ravine. I think she hit a ledge and then fell some more, which probably broke her fall and kept her from dying. But I think she was down to 1 heart, and so she worked her way back up the ravine, digging a staircase. So after that we have Baker Bell. Episode 3, installed supporting beams for a walkway across the ravine by the well. Crossed the lake to check out the other village, but found it guarded by a skelly with an enchanted bow. Went to safer area to chop wood and was ninja'd by a couple of creepers. I was like, what? Baker Bell? She never dies. But yeah, this creeper, and he made no noise. He didn't, you know how they walk in the grass or on the sand and you might hear something right before they do the sizzle? Nothing. I don't even think she heard the sizzle. Just blew up right on her. So that was the end of her for November. Good game, Baker Bell. So, and good luck on your novel. Yeah, she talked a little bit about she's writing a novel. So now she can concentrate on that. After that we have Honeysuckle. Episode 3 for Honeysuckle. Put down more stone walls, collected pumpkins, expanded the farms. Yeah, very, very good idea about expanding the farms and getting more use out of those farms, the little 4 farms that we have. Let's see, expanded the farms. Displayed some fine maneuvering skills, ending in a record. Cliffhanger with 2 hearts left. Yeah, she's fighting a skeleton, some other mobs. So yeah, definitely go look at the episode 3 for Honeysuckle, because that was really good. Episode 4 for Honeysuckle, she grabbed a stall, which is the record that she got. One of my favorites. Let's see, condemned the house that slid into the ravine and closed it down. I think she actually took it down. Improved the bridge and pathways, expanded more farms, and made great progress on the village. She's coming right along. After that we have Lorelei. Episode 3 for Lorelei. She did some odd jobs around town. She found a skelly in the tall house, and then of course had to dispatch of him. Then she went and lit up the house and some other houses and areas around town. Found a zombie in the big house, the one where she has her little base at. Opened the door and the zombie came right out. Built oak and cobble walls. terraformed and fixed the pathways, made a main gate, relocated her tree farm, and then in episode 4 she worked some more on the pathways and the walls and plans to move the well. And yeah, her little wall is looking very nice. She has planks on the bottom and stone wall on the top, and it looks really nice. And then after that we have DJ Paul T. Jed. Episode 3, terraformed and put up stone walls, gathered resources in a large cave system, checked for breaches, and found zombie remains. Yeah, he came up in the morning and he was looking to make sure everything was still okay. And there's some little zombie meat sitting there by the house. So somebody managed to get in. Episode 4, finished the wall on one side, lit up the area, taunted some mobs, and rescued the villager in the sunken house. And after that, we have Mac G Mania. Episode 3 for Mac. Planted trees along the pathways for villagers to walk in the shade. I thought that was a really good idea. You know, I love those roads and driveways to big ranch houses, and they always have the tree line where it reaches over on the top and makes like an archway, and then of course you just walk down there in the shade, which is really nice down here in the south where it gets extremely warm. Extended pathways out in different directions, worked on his cellar some more, had an uninvited guest drop in with their enchanted bow. Yeah, and wrecked his day. There was a skeleton up in the house, and I don't know how the skeleton got in the house unless he still has a hole up in the roof. I can't remember if it was him that had the hole up in the roof from when he first came into the house or not. Anyway, so yeah, this skeleton is up in the house, and he had come up from the cellar. So he goes back down into the cellar, down the ladder, and he's backed up a little bit in the room, and all of a sudden the skeleton, he doesn't fall in the hole, he comes down the ladder. And of course Mac is like, what? I didn't know they could do that. I'm like, I didn't know they could do that. And I'm like, as long as they can't climb up the ladders, I can deal with them, falling down the ladders. Climbing up the ladders, that's going to be a problem. And I'm pretty sure it's coming. If they've made it so they can maneuver down them, I have a feeling they're going to make it so they can maneuver up them eventually. And then next thing you know, zombies will be opening doors. Now, that's just going to be awful. Okay, so next we have, yes, good game, Mac G Mania. And we'll see you next month, I hope. Okay, next is Outfoxed. Episode 3 for Outfoxed. He worked on installing the stone wall, found a creeper checking out books in the library, dispatched of a trespassing zombie, was overtaken by mobs while lighting the rooftops. How did they get in there anyway? Yeah, he had the fence and the trench. I mean, he had the trench around the outside, and he had the fence on the inside of the trench. I don't know how these mobs got in, kept getting in. He was lighting up the rooftops. He was coming down from one of them, and there's a skeleton down there. And the next thing you know, there's two zombies and a spider, possibly a creeper. And yeah, they're all ganging up on him. He didn't have a chance. So that's the end of his run for November. So good game, Outfoxed. And I know we'll see you in December. After that we have Java Dad. Let me make sure I didn't miss a page. Yeah, after that we have Java Dad. Episode 3 had a creeper come to help him while he was in his crafting window. Yeah, you could just see the very top of this creeper's head walking up the pathway, and then a little bit of his eyes over the top of the crafting window. So he blew up, but luckily, and I don't know how he managed it, but Java Dad survived. But of course he left this big old hole right there in the middle of town. So repaired the crater left by his helper, installed some fencing, found an Enderman taking refuge under the big oak, had problems with mobs sneaking in through a corner opening in the fence, and mobs were out in full force during the night. Yeah, he was saying the next morning, he's like, gosh, I didn't get anything done, but you know what, I think he spent most of his time fighting off the mobs, because there was a lot of mobs. Then episode 4, made a very nice bridge, and yes, he did, a little curved bridge over the well area. Finished the fence on one side of the village and started renovating the sunken house. Yeah, I think he's going to renovate it so the villager can live in it. Either that or he's going to make it like an access down to the ravine, maybe. So it'd be like the guardhouse down to the ravine or something. So after that we have Scotty Garbitas and Max Reiter. Episode 3. Found that some villagers are now zombies, at least one. Put up stone walls, did some farming. Spiders were taking a liking to Max. Yeah, I think he got attacked by 2 or 3 spiders that episode. Scotty freed the villager in the sunken house. And then in episode 4, that one started off with Max getting an arrow in the back. Do you remember, was it episode 2? Scotty had an arrow in the back from that skeleton. Well, this time Max got an arrow in the back from a skeleton right off the bat. Continued covering the ravine, collected flowers, discovered the village on the lake. Scotty went across the lake and he was actually out collecting flowers, and he ran around and ran up on the lake village. Scotty tamed a horse with one of the saddles that was in the blacksmith's and rebuilt the well, fixed the pathways, and released more villagers. I think Max fixed the pathways, Scotty rebuilt the well, and then Scotty, I think at the end, was letting some more villagers out of the houses, and Max, I believe, let that one farmer guy out of the small house behind me. And that is it for episodes 3 and 4. So next we'll have episode 5. I know it's like time for episode 6, so I may do 5 and 6 together. I would like to do my usual narrative, although I have to admit Reader's Digest version does go a lot faster. I don't know how long we've been taping, but let me know, do you prefer the Reader's Digest version, or do you like hearing the details? And one of the things I like about the embellishments of my narrative, what do they call it when you take liberty, is getting some of those little sayings and things that happen that you might not see normally as you're trying to watch a bunch of videos, and you might be skipping through a little bit. Now I do try to find those little tidbits to entice people to go over and see it for themselves. So yeah, let me know if you have a preference. If you don't, then I'll just do what I want to do, because I personally like making the little storylines. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me for updates 3 and 4, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.